Shalom, everybody, and welcome back. We're continuing with where we left off in Likutey Moharan, lesson 24, paragraph number 9. This is Rav Nossin's summary of sections 7 and 8 on these very subtle and deep concepts of the Keter and everything that's connected to it. The idea of the running and returning, being bounced back, waiting, okay, the Betisha, the 9 chambers. So Rav Nossin is going over these details, and we're going to go with how Rav Nossin is explaining it, and we'll try to see some more details, Bezrat Hashem. Okay. So we're holding the second paragraph in Rav Nossin's summary here, where he's beginning to explain the idea. We started this last class, and we're going to continue with some very important fine points, Bezrat Hashem. Points which are so important in life that it can't go under stressed. It's something which is so important that a person goes through a lot in his life, and it's responsible for the majority of a person's crashes in life, is he doesn't master this point. Okay, and he explains like this, and this is the following of beginning to expound this very deep concept in detail. Ki Keter hu ha'meyashev v'hamesader et hamochim. Okay. What is the Keter? The Keter is the faculty of the mind. The mind has a hidden faculty which becomes triggered. Okay? It's the Miyashev Mesader of the Mochim. It's the settling and the organizing, the structuring of the mind. That's what the Keter is. The mind itself is the faculty of pursuing knowledge. The mind wants to understand more, to know more, to comprehend more. The Keter is the strength in the mind to put restraint. The restraint is needed because the only way you can absorb things in life if there's time to absorb it. In other words, for example, like sight. When you look at something, how does sight work? Rabbi Nachman explains sight in lesson 65. Your sight, your eyes bounce on the item that you're looking at and then sends back the message to your eyes. In other words, it goes quickly, boom, boom. That's how it is for everything. Everything in life is running and returning, okay? You need a time gap, even though it's like a millionth of a second, whatever for sight, where it needs time to go forward and then back to you. That's how things work. The way things work in life is you need a time span for the item to come back to you. So that's the idea of going forward and then bouncing back, coming back in order to have time to comprehend. We learned this out in the Chumash, Parshat Vayikra, where sorry about this. In the Parshat Vayikra, there's like one section, and then there's another section which is the exact same laws, but for a different type of animal. Two animals, one is like for a sheep, and one is for a goat. So Rashi says, if now it's the same law for both of them, why is there's like a pay sign in the Chumash or a Samech, which means these are separate chapters in the parsha of the week. Why the separation? If it's one long idea, just this is a goat and this is a sheep, just continue the exact same details. So they say no. In order to give room for Moshe Rabbeinu to have time to absorb between inyan and inyan. Even Moshe Rabbeinu, as great as he is, he needs a time span, a time gap, in order to absorb. That's how it is in life. You learn something, you need to give time for the students to absorb what they're learning. It can't like you're just feeding information, feeding. Okay, and I need time to absorb. Some people, they have that time while the teacher is talking. They already figure it out. They have the bounce back to absorb. In other words, it's hitting you the information, but now I need time to take it in. I got ideas. Okay, I'm running to pursue this. When you're listening to someone in order speaking, so you need time to hear what he's saying, but you also need time to have it absorbed in your brain. Okay, it's two things happening, Redifa and Me'akev, okay? This is this whole idea of the power of the Keter. It's a power in the mind that gives it a time span to absorb, okay? So now when a person is really trying to perceive something which is really high, so it makes sense that he needs much more time to absorb it. So there's more of a break. Because when you reach a high concept, so you need time to absorb this. Also, if it's something which is a lot of details, like a Gemara concept, a Sugya in the Gemara, where there's a lot of details, so you need time to figure out every piece and put them all together. Okay? By the way, if I can mention this on the side, this seems to be the problem of ADHD people. People who are hyperactive. What's the problem with them? Is that the Keter is working simultaneously. In other words, there's no time for them to absorb. They're running and hitting back at the same time. It's like I ask you a question. Can I please have an ice cream? And before I even finish asking, no. Can I please? No. I didn't even ask the question yet. And already the answer is hitting me back. So by a person who has ADHD, the Redifan Me'akev are working at the same time. So if that's the case, how do you help them with people with ADHD? You give them information which is so high that the distance of the concept they're trying to grab and them has such a gap, not just physically, like a spiritual gap, that anyways they have to have time. They need time to absorb it. It's like, for example, you're standing on the ground and you see an airplane flying. From the ground point of view, the plane is going very slow, right? In reality, it's going super fast, but because you're all the way down on the ground, it looks like it's going slow, slow, slow. Okay, why is it slow? Because I'm so far from the airplane, so that because I'm far, it's slow, and there's more time to absorb its movement. Because it's slow, I can see it. So there's a theory here, and I hope to develop it, that for people who are ADHD, to davka teach them lofty concepts. Gemara, for example, why is it difficult for people with ADHD? Because it's such a constriction, and they require a lot of focus in a constricted area to navigate in understanding a concept. It's like a constricting of all these details, and they have to focus on something which is small and to break it open. And because they're having the running and the returning at the same time, they can't take it in. So what to do then? Teach lofty concepts, things which are like, not philosophical, things which are moralistic ideas, which give a space of looking at all of life. For example, a Gemara concept is a very limited thing and focusing in one specific detail, as opposed to concepts about life, Chassidut, Kabbalah, for example. It's like big, midrash and everything. It's like wide. It takes up all of life. You begin to find in life and everything around you fitting in to what's being mentioned in the Kabbalah, Chassidut, midrash. So there's a wideness, and automatically there's a gap. So it goes slow for the person with ADHD. There's time now to perceive it and to get the message back. Okay, but by ADHD it's going so fast. So we need to make it slower. It's too fast. It's faster than normal. Okay, Keter, he says, is the power of radifa u'me'akev. They're not happening at the same time. There has to be first a running and then a hitting back, and it's a faculty of the mind. It's called the power of the mind. He's going to say the word koach at least 5 times over. So let's take a look. The intellect has this power, this faculty of, this is the Keter first of all. This is before mentioning the running and returning. The mind has this power to settle and to organize, because you need time to settle and organize. That's what the Keter does. When you're learning, you're trying to absorb. The Keter is what's doing the faculty to push a person back and to take time to absorb what he's learning. Each person according to his level. So that's what the Keter is. It's the settling and organizing of the mind. The Hainu, in other words, the strength, the power that exists within the intellect of mankind. Okay, by mankind, it's not just Am Yisrael. Mankind, a human being, this is how it works for everyone, even a goy. They have this thing of radifa of the Keter at their level, but they have it there. Everyone needs it in order to function, to have an understanding mind that has an intellect that's usable and functioning. Okay, there's a strength in the intellect of a man to settle and organize the mind and the intellect, the da'at, the wisdom, and this wording is very powerful. Why all this? Why do I need also the settling? Another reason. First we said to have the time gap, time span to absorb. But another thing, why you need to go back and have it settled in, leval yaharos latzet chutz min hagvul, so that a person shouldn't destroy his boundary, going past his border. Everyone has a border in what you're understanding. Okay, there's a border in what you're understanding, And if you pass it, then you're in danger. You're going to destroy going past your boundary. Rav Nosson is going to say, we're going to hopefully see this inside or elsewhere, that this is the main reason of a downfall, that a person is what's called in Hebrew, docheket hasha'ah. Person pushes too much. He pushes too much forward, and then he ends up crashing and losing everything. The main reason why people are far from Hashem, because they went too extreme, and then they fell. I have a friend, for example, a Baal Tshuva friend, many years ago, got married, moved to Yerushalayim, and American. American means also American in dress, American mentality, and he was trying very much to get closer to the Breslov community. So he started growing the payas and the beard, and he started getting the bekeshe and the hat. And when it comes to these things, you can't tell a person. You can't say you're going too fast, because you yourself don't know. Maybe it's okay for him, you don't know. But you have a feeling sometimes, whoa, he's going too much in. You feel it. He's jumping in too fast, this guy, okay? He did that. He even was living in a more like American neighborhood in Yerushalayim, and then a half American, and then a more Yerushalmi, more ultra-Orthodox, okay? And he was living like in a hole in the wall. Hole in the wall in this neighborhood, in the Mea Shearim neighborhood. You still have houses that are holes in the wall, unfortunately. It's like 100 years ago, and there's still a hole in the wall, and they just fix up the inside, but outside it's like 100 years old or 200 years old, whatever, okay? So he was living in a hole in the wall, and I was trying to understand, how is his wife dealing with this? And they crashed, She called the police, whatever, and it just didn't work out. A divorce and everything after having kids, The guy crashed, fell off, left Eretz Yisrael, left everything. And there was a foresight in seeing this coming. But you can't talk, when it happens, the person, you can't talk to them because they're blinded by the light. They say, oh, it's okay, I'm all right, I'm okay, I know what I'm doing, it's under control. So you can't talk to them. There's no one to talk to because the person is so overwhelmed by the light. And unfortunately, the only way people learn the lessons is when they get the crash. By some, it's too fatal. By some, if they're lucky and they do the right thing in life, and they have a lot of emuna and simple tmimut, pshitut, simplicity, honesty, straightforwardness, and emuna, Hashem saves those people that even if they crash, there's an opening for them to start again. But the majority of people are not after simplicity and emuna. They want, like Rav Nosson says on this lesson, they want perceptions. I want godly influx. I want all these things, but their actions are not there yet. Their actions, like where they're holding in their sexual purity, in their holiness, in their Yirat Shamayim, is all the way down here, and they want an intellect that goes all the way up. So it doesn't match. Such a person who tries to pursue, going forward of the light, 99.99% he's going to crash the guy. It's finished. Because he's left the foundation of emuna and simplicity, honesty, knowing, hey, wait a minute, look at me. I do terrible things, I do abominations, I do disgusting things, and yet I want to have such perceptions. There's an expression in the Gemara, Oseh ma'aseh zimri, umevakesh sachar kepinchas. A person does immorality or disgusting actions like Zimri did with Cosby, and he wants a reward like Pinchas. He wants, it's an expression used. He wants, big things. Pinchas in the end became Kohen. Korach wanted the Keuna. Pinchas became Kohen because he was Kanai. But Korach and the whole gang, Cosby was like a continuation of that balagan. Pinchas is the one who killed Zimri, okay? So that's how it is. Many people, they get carried away. And they're getting carried away, and then crashing is like sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. What happens in the end, you can see it coming in the beginning. How people are when they're beginning their Yiddishkeit and their pursuit to go into Breslov and everything. You can catch feelings the person's going to be in a dead end. He's going to crash. If now they let go of simple devotions. It's not always black and white. You have some people who are sincere, but they get carried away also, but they have by miracle wake up. And they have a crash, but they woke up, and the crash wasn't 100% like all the way down. It was a certain degree, like Korach's sons. They had regret. They're already in the earth, and they wanted to tshuva, so Hashem created like a little crevice for them to stand on, so they didn't go down into hell. The sons of Korach, right? So that's how it is also with a person. That if now they're after just the light and the intellect, they're missing the point. So then, if that's the case, the question is, So if it's so dangerous for me to learn Torah, that every time I learn Torah and Chassidut and Breslev, so I get so excited, I just forget everything and go forward, so then I can't learn Torah then. So if now it's danger for me to advance, because if I advance, I just go overboard. So no, don't, let me do nothing. Let me sit down and do nothing. No. You have to advance, okay? But together with emuna and pshitut at every stage. Like Rav Nosson says on the prayer on this lesson, the goal of my perception in life should be to realize how much I don't know. You hear that? My goal in learning Torah, my goal in coming close to God, is to realize much more how much I don't know, so I have more enhanced emuna. I'm learning in order to strengthen my emuna. Okay, that's amazing. So someone who does that, he has he's advancing with a catch net at the same time. He has the catch net with him, so if he falls, it's right over there. He may fall, okay, but he can get back up and start again and even advance even better. But he has a catch net. Even if he falls, he can fall to terrible crashes. But he's going with this emuna. Okay, so this is the key. Here he's talking about the danger of people if there was no keter to push you back. Okay, so you would just fry. A person would be fried, chas shalom, by the intensity of the light. So that's why the keter is this faculty of the mind, and it's for everybody. In order for a person to be a functioning human being, he needs the pursuing of understanding something, and then, okay, back off, to go back. You have to absorb it now. You have to take it in and use what you're seeing now to integrate it into life, to put it into your life. Okay, you need that time. So it's a normal human faculty, okay? But if a person forces the situation, forces the light, okay, that's dangerous. Okay, so Rav Nosson first saying, why is there a keter? Leval yaharos latzet mechutz min hagvul. So a person shouldn't destroy to pass the border of his perception of godliness. Ze hakoach hu bechinat keter kan yizkalel. This power, this strength, the faculty of the mind, is what we call the keter. That's called keter, mentioned above. V'ze hakoach. Again, he's mentioned koach, koach, koach. And this power, this strength of the mind. So what is it like? Okay, you're saying that it's the ability to settle and organize the mind. So how does it appear mentally? It's like a mechitza hamafseket ben hamochin uben ha'or ein sof. It's like a wall, a partition that separates between the person's mind and the infinite light. Okay, you need that wall, and he's just going to explain first more stages of this power. Kizeh koach shu ha'me'ashev ha'mesader, because this strength, this faculty of the mind, which is the keter, which is the settling and organizing of the mind. Who me'akev, Rav Nosson is explaining like layer by layer. This power, which is the settling and organizing of the mind. Who me'akev et hamochin be'et merutzatam or difatam. It prevents, it detains, it stops the mind, the intellect, at the time that the mind is running, merutzatam, and pursuing. The mind is doing two things. It's running forward, but it's also running forward to pursue a specific matter, a specific idea, a specific level, a specific concept, a specific light. You're after something in your Yiddishkeit. You're after it. You've dropped everything else, and the mind is running towards you. The person's all dedicated to running after this idea, after being exposed to the light of it. Okay? So now, the strength, which is settling and organizing the mind, prevents the mind while running. You're running, the mind is running and pursuing, and is being prevented. Why? Leval yehersu la'alot el Hashem lemala mimichitzatam. Rav Nosson is paraphrasing a quote from a verse from the Torah. These words, leval yehersu, appear, but he changes the word. La'alot el Hashem, the actual verse reads leraot el Hashem. Leraot et Hashem. This verse is from Parshat Yitro. Parshat Yitro, where the Jews are about to receive the Torah on Har Sinai. So Hashem warned Moshe Rabbeinu twice. First time, he said, Hagbel et Har, make a fence around the mountain so that no Jew should pass that partition, that fence. Okay? And then, when it was about time to receive the actual revelation of the Torah, Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu a second time, go down and warn them again. Warn them. So Moshe Rabbeinu asked Hashem, but Hashem, you told me already. The Jews, they have that fence. It's picketed around. They can't pass that fence. So, what do you want, Hashem? What do you want to do? So Hashem said, nonetheless, Rashi explains this. The experience is so overwhelming. They need to be reminded a second time at the time of the actual incident. And remember, you learn in life like this: you get a pre-warning, and then you get a warning at the time of something. In life, you have to give a forewarning, and then right before again you're about to do something, you get again another warning that you make. We're re-warning you again. Don't do this and this and that. But the Or Chaim and Rabbeinu Bachye, they say that there was two warnings here. There's one warning for the physical ascent of the mountain. That was the purpose of the fence. The fence is there. What do you want? They're not going to pass the fence. The second warning is that they shouldn't pursue mentally. This is something so important. The Or Chaim HaKadosh and Rabbeinu Bachye explain on this verse here. The wording is leraot. Rav Nosson changes to la'alot. Leraot means to see. That the Jews, when they'll see the revelation of Har Sinai, they'll get overwhelmed. So the second warning, don't even look. Don't even look. If you look, you're going to be in danger. In a way, it's like, I have to bring this analogy. If you remember the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark at the very end. So when the Nazi French professor dresses up as the Kohen Gadol and he's opening up the Ark, right? So Indiana Jones, I have to use this analogy because people only get it. Indiana Jones he's tied up with a girl and he says, don't look, close your eyes, okay? So all the Nazi guards, everyone there, they want to see. And they're filming it. So there's like this angel of a beautiful woman, like an angel, and it's an angel of death. Anyone who saw her, they all melted, right? And Indiana Jones, and they have their eyes closed, and all the melted bodies, they're burnt up, and they go back into the ark. The ark swallows them up, whatever, okay? This idea, even though it's not accurate at all, but the idea is there. The idea is, don't look. That the Or Chaim and Rabbeinu Bachye saying the second warning of the Jews is not just not to look physically, but not to want to look at this time. It's unbelievable, this concept. When Hashem is about to give a person a big elevation in life, dafka, he should not look. He has to close his eyes. Okay? And when he's far, that's when he should open his eyes. But when you're close, where do you learn that from? Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu, when he went up for the first time, he saw the burning bush, right? So Hashem hears a voice, the divine presence. Shal na'alecha, take off your shoes. Because the Admat Kodesh, this is a holy land you're treading upon, because this is going to be the mountain of Har Sinai, where the Jews are going to receive the Torah. So it says right after that, the Moshe Rabbeinu covered his face. Mehabit. Why did Moshe Rabbeinu cover his face to see? Because that's the way to perceive. He said, even Moshe Rabbeinu, as great as he is, he's the highest prophet. He sees Hashem at the highest level that no man has. But even he has to put a barrier, so he shouldn't look totally. There has to be a barrier. Like I said, it covered his hand on his face, so he shouldn't see. And through the not seeing, Hashem was talking to him. That's how it is in life. In life, when you're getting too close, you have to automatically put on the breakers. Oh, it's too much for me, it's too much. And when you do that, Hashem gives you the messages you need in life. But a person says, no, I want to be exposed. I want the light. These people are not worthy. You hear that? That's unbelievable. The worthiness comes when you put on your own breakers. You feel so unworthy. You feel like scared. You feel you have your own breakers. This is too much. I'm not worthy of this. This is too. And you're going advancing, and they want you they want to give you an advance in life. But you feel that this is too much. I'm scared. It's like Moshe Rabbeinu, he put on his breakers. That even makes him even more worthy. They're more impressed in heaven that he's willing to do this. He shows that he feels he's not worthy for this light, and it's very overwhelming. So they give him even more. It's an amazing rule in life. Okay, just there's so much to say about this idea. How does the verse go in Hallel? Mi Kashem. It's a song by Karduner also. Mi Kashem Elokeinu Hamagbihi Lashavet. Hamashpili lirot b'shamayim u'ba'aretz. It's a pasuk from the Hallel. Okay, so Hamagbihi lashavet, Hamashpili lirot b'shamayim u'ba'aretz. This is a book called Panim Yafot. He says like this. He says, when a person is being lifted up by Hashem, Hamagbihi, you sit. In other words, you don't go forward. Lashavet, sit down. So and let Hashem's going to lift you up, but you don't push for it. Sit down. And then the opposite, Hamash Hashem pushes back, Hamashpili, lirot, someone who wants to see. Someone who wants to see godliness, Hashem is mashpil that person, whether it's angels, bashamayim, uba'aretz, whether it's people down below. Amazing, okay? This is an amazing thing in life, that a person needs breakers in order to perceive. The main way to perceive is not those people who like doing huji-buji Kabbalah, we're going to meditate now, we're going to have a vision now, and this and that, and they want to see. That's not the way to see. The way to see is when you're running away from it, you're scared, and you have emuna, and you say, I'm not ready for this. You're worried of being overwhelmed. You're worried like crazy of having too much light, and you're always putting on breakers, and you're advancing with the breakers. So the advance is slower, but it's guaranteed. You have that catch neck that you're going step by step with the breakers. This is too much for me. I'm worried. It might be too much, and you're always worried about it. It bothers you, so then you're worthy to receive. Okay, hamagbihi lashavet. You sit. I can't advance. This is too much for me. And then hamashpili, Hashem pushes back. I want to see everything. I want to see the heavens. I want to see all the clouds. I want to see everything. Hashem is mashpil. Too much. Unbelievable. Okay, so this is part of life. It's a major part of life, and especially in Yiddishkeit. You'll see, whenever you push too much, you crash. You'll see it. Whenever I had this test last night, by the way. I had a test. I have to take like certain drops, and it's after 1 hour after eating. And I really badly wanted a nice piece of fish. My wife made a good piece of fish, and I was waiting to finish. I have to also be fasting 3 hours after taking the drops. And then if I eat, I have to wait another hour till I take again the drops. And I was planning to take the drops after 3 hours without a break. But the fish looked so good. So I had the piece of fish. And I said, okay, so I'll take the drops in 1 hour. And my stomach started to hurt, and acid, and burning, and this. And then I lost out taking the drops that I needed to take. So, and why? I could have said, take it easy. The fish, or you don't eat it. Someone else will eat it or eat it tomorrow. But why now? You have to eat it now. Why? So, and it was Yetzirah. You're not hungry. You don't have to eat the fish. But if I don't eat it now, someone else is going to eat it. So you're pushing. And in the end, you lose everything. It happens a lot in life. This is something, it's recurring. Okay? Fine. So again, the Keter is me'akev et hamochin be'et merutzatam u'tefatam leval yehersu la'alot el Hashem lemala mimechitzatam. So that the mind shouldn't break the boundary. And Rav Nosson is paraphrasing this verse, but not word for word. La'alot el Hashem, to go up. There it says leraot, to see. And that's basically the same idea. To see spiritually is ascent, is trying to go up. Lemala mimechitzatam, above their true border. This is something which is so important in life. You can't imagine. Okay? It's so important. This is the secret of the Hatzlacha. And again, if now you see learning Torah and it gets you so high, people, they're scared to learn Chassidut or stuff because they get so excited and they lose all the borders. So that it's a problem. They have to learn, but with condition that you feel backed up. This is why I tell people when you're learning, for example, Likutey Moharan, do it together with Likutey Tfilot. Do it together. Why? Because Likutey Moharan is the intellect. You're learning the ideas. And in the prayer of Nosson expressing how far I am from this, how far I am from that. And it's like bringing you back to reality of where you're coming from. So it's together in one package. You have the da'at in the Likutey Moharan, but you have the feeling of worrying about the advance, the dangers of advancing, and mentioning your setbacks, and you're begging Hashem, please let me come to this, but even though I'm not worthy and I don't know how to do this and this and that, that's why Rav Nosson talks a lot in the Likutey Tfilot, when it's joined together, so you can advance safely. As opposed to people who just want the intellect. Rest of it is not intellectual, that's it. It's not that. It's intellect, but with the package of the emuna, that you can handle it, B'ezrat Hashem. Okay? Ki hamochin rotfin lahasig ha'or ein sof. Because the mind is always running to pursue the infinite light. V'zeh ha'koach hanal shel ha'sechel. And this power, this faculty of the mind, intellect, shu ha'miyashev ha'mesader, which is the settling and organizing of the mind, shu b'chinat keter, okay? So this power, settling, organizing the mind, keter, hu omed bifneim komo mechitza. He stands, the keter stands in front of the intellect as a wall, as a partition, u'me'akev otam meredifatam, and stops them from running. And all this is needed so the person shouldn't pass his boundary. B'ezrat Hashem. I think we'll stop here because it was very heavy, even though it was a short class. But Baruch Hashem, the point is going to be elaborated more by Rav Nosson, and we'll do our best to get more into it, B'ezrat Hashem. Thank you for joining, B'ezrat Hashem. And if you want more on the class, you can go to lesson 24, LESSON 24 dot breast of therapy, BRESLOV therapy.com. Thank you. Have an amazing week, and may Hashem console us with Pe'er Tachat Efer, with a glory instead of ashes, B'ezrat Hashem. The same letters, Efer, Aleph, Pe, Resh, Pe'er, Pe, Aleph, Resh, B'ezrat Hashem. Thank you for joining.